All right, what's up, everybody? So I just got back from the BBG 2K/3K weekend of Yu-Gi-Oh, and I did pretty good on the first day. Uh, Not so good on the second day with 3v3, but on the first day I actually went undefeated in the Swiss. I was the only undefeated, and ended up making top four with this deck. So this deck is something I've been playing for a very long time now. I guess like maybe half a year, and it's like the only deck I've really played. And I've done like good at every event I've entered. I haven't played too much. Like I know a lot of people like play like two or three like events a week that they travel and stuff, but I just kind of stick to North Carolina now. But I won like a couple like 1K, 2K level events with this, and then uh, an event in Maryland for like a super dust shoot like earlier in the year. But yeah, this deck has given me a lot of success, and I haven't changed it too much. But I guess I'll just go through it really fast, and it's just Machina Lightsworn. So it's standard three of each of these Machina monsters. Some people play two. I've always been on three. I think the ability to just have this late game and just have a free monster born fortress is too important. And it's just like more machines to pitch, even if you have to use two cards for fortress. Fills up avarice fast. And I mean, I know it breaks sometimes in early game, but the idea of the deck and how it's built is to grind with your opponent. So breaks are a little bit less detrimental to your deck, since your deck wants to slow the pace down and survive for longer. And then, of course, three Hamster, three Raiko, three Kaya. Some people have been like weighing away from this, going to like 0, 1, playing like Cyber Valley, just not playing at all. Like I've never understood that. Like this card is insane. It's very, very powerful into like their opposing flips. If you go first, set like one of these, and they set a flip, and then you pop their back row or Raiko or summon Hamster, and the highest third monster is just like so powerful, and you're for sure almost gonna win that game if that happens. And it's just like a really good top deck. You can go force into Caius out like anything and just attack. I see no reason to not play three in this board for me. It is an easy side out going second though sometimes, like one or two depending on the matchup. And then the one-ofs, Scores, Trooper, these are limited good one-ofs. Lila, I only play one, some people play two. I think this is just another normal summon, but it is searchable through charge, so I do play the one. And then some people, a lot of people play like Plague or other monsters here. I thought Cyber Dragon was really good. I was considering one Cyber Valley, but I realized that this is just, if you're going to pitch Cyber Valley most of the time anyway for Fortress, this is just better because it can just be a 2100 body. And it did save me a few times. I'll talk about a few situations where it mattered. Like there was one game where my opponent tried to go for game with return, and I had this on board, and he couldn't summon any monsters bigger than 2000, so he had a Sirocco pump, but I was really high on life, and had I not had this on field, I would have died because he would have pumped up to like 7800, and I was at like 73 or something, so I survived because of his being a body. So that was really good. And with their own GBs and stuff being more popular, it's just good against that matchup. And for spells, the one-ofs, of course. And I don't play two avarice. A lot of people focus the deck and play three. I just never want to open two of this card in my opening hand. It's like just awful because this is the card that you ideally want to see in a mid game. Obviously, it doesn't happen every time you might open one, but it's okay to open one because like you just play towards resolving this. You can play a little more aggressive, like Torrential Mirror Force, and we'll try to resolve this. But opening two, it's like you almost just can't do anything because you just have like two slots in your hand that aren't contributing for like at least like two or three turns. And then that's the spells. Traps, I've played the same traps for so long. Limited one-ofs, semi-limited, and then three of these. Still controversial traps. A lot of people do not play this card at all. A lot of people play 1 or 0 of Compulse or 2. I don't, first of all, I don't think, so let's compare these cards to cards like commonly played cards like Dimensional Prison, Legacy of Yatagarasu, and then discard traps, which some people play like 1 or 0 or whatever, or some people might play Oppression or Call the Haunted. So the easy ones, the reason against Oppression is it is not good into Vayu most of the time. It's not good in the Blackwing, which is one of your harder matchups, and it's not really good into Frog unless they specifically open Substitute and you go first. And Because stopping Miracle Fusion is good, but like your deck just Fortress trades well into 0, so it's not that big of a deal. Call the Haunted, it's weak to oppression, a lot of oppression decks, and it kind of conflicts with this card because you're like, you know, getting a monster out of the grave, so it's like, you know, less life. And then Legacy, I don't think the reason for Legacy is because you like, it's good to draw cards obviously with average recycling stuff back, but just like drawing a card, like it's not a big of a deal because you have so many starters. A lot of decks don't have so many like hard starters, like 3 Gear Frame, 3 Hamster, 3 Raikou, and then Trooper is like another hard starter, and so Lilac can be considered one too, you know, getting your grave going. Just having the ability to just get going really fast is makes it less important to have to keep drawing. Like Blackwings play Legacy because they want to draw into Whirlwind. Specifically, they want to draw like Blackwing Whirlwind. They want to draw like Kalutes to deal damage, Boras to deal damage. But I didn't feel like this deck needed it. It's more of a control, grindy deck with flips. It's a lot slower, right? And then Dimensional Prison is a card that if I could fit a couple, I probably would try to. But it just, the slots kind of just, I guess, level out to like where I need these more. Because game 1, I really do value keeping the flips alive from cards like Caius and then opposing Raikous. And then cards like Brionek and Dad just kind of blow the game out of the water. So I really wanted this card over Dimensional Prison because they don't stop that. That Deep Prison does not stop those cards at all. And then this card is very good because it lets you reuse Gear Frame, and then it's you can play tricks with it with Gores. Obviously, you know, you set it, you attack with 2 monsters, you bounce the other one, you drop Gores. Yeah, it's really good. Reset your Raikou. You don't want to take damage. Reset your Raikou, and then you have the Hamster they can't run over. I just thought these were a lot better for me, and they always have worked. At least game 1. Maybe not this card against Blackwings, but we do side Prison for that. So that is the main deck. The extra deck, I only play 12 cards. I like don't play Plague now, so it just doesn't matter. Only Chimera Tech matters. So yeah, I brained a few monsters, but never really like any tuners. So yeah, it's whatever. Probably should play 15, but it doesn't matter. Side deck, we're playing 3 Dust Trainer now. This is very important. I've lost to Oppression a few times in the past. I just didn't feel like losing Oppression anymore. So Blackwing and Vayu, these just auto go in. 3 Crow. This is for Frogs and Vayu. It might have been a little overkill against Vayu because sometimes it doesn't do that much and it feels their return. But I mean, I just felt like I really needed it. I didn't want to like have to set a bunch of back row and then like play in the heavy, and I'd rather have just stop their Vayus and play. Second Cyber Dragon for Mirror Match and GB and Hero Beat. 2 Prison for like, I side these for the matchups where like change not as good. Mostly like for Blackwing, Hero Beat, which chain does nothing against Alias, and GBs. 1 Kaiku, this is really good against Vayu. I didn't really side these in too many things. I didn't see any Dragon Turbo or Lightsworn, even though those are there. But I'm probably putting against those if I could. And then 3 Rug. You can never really side this going second because it's just like, you know, they are normal summon their power card usually. But going first in the mirror, I side like probably like 2. And then against like Diva Hero in particular, I probably side all 3. And then Monarchs, of course, all 3. Against Monarchs, you can definitely side 3 going second. And then 2 Dyna for like Frogs, Dragon Turbo, Lightsworn, just like the high roll decks. So that's that. It hasn't changed too much. It's been working for me. I guess I can go over like the successful day 1, right? Conveniently. So it was 66 people, so 7 rounds. So round 1 I played against Vayu, and went to game 3. It was pretty close, but I just kind of outgrinded him. Like the deck just does what it needs to do. And then round 2 was Vayu. He was a little bit less experienced in round 1, so it was a pretty quick 2-0 there, which was fortunate. And then round 3 was Dark Gaia. It was a very scary deck. I didn't know he was playing. I attacked into like a Dark Resonator turn 1, and then that was weird. But I just kind of beat him game 1 without seeing what he was playing. So I sided 1 Dyna in case it was some kind of like, because I saw tuners, could be a crazy deck. It was Dark Gaia, and I was able to draw the outs. So yeah, that was good. Round 4 was Fairies. He also was a bit newer. He thought Herald Purple Play was a tuner, which was kind of funny. And he didn't use it to negate a dust shoot, which he could have, because the trap negate. But yeah, I was able to get that 2-0 as well. And then round 5 was another value. He was pretty experienced, but he also he said he hadn't played like anyone really good yet, and he was kind of like a good player, but not like the best, and it was a pretty grindy 2-1 match, but I was able to get it. And then round 6 was on stream. It was Hero Frog. Round 1 I played kind of like a maniac, just trying to kill him, and because I just had that kind of hand, and I was down by cards so much, but I still just killed him because he didn't have anything after a while. And then game 2, I got completely destroyed. He dust shooted me, and I saw I dust shooted him too, but his hand was just like cracked. It was like he already used Stratos. He had like 2 Monarchs, Toad, and I was it's not happening. My hand was like nothing. And then game 3, he kind of braked, so I just won. Like he just didn't have anything at all, like no monsters. So yeah, that happens. Then round 7 was Vayu again. It was 2-0. It was a guy from my locals. I've seen him a couple times. I've never seen him play Edison. Didn't know exactly how good he was, but he didn't open that well. So it was kind of a quick-ish 2-0 there. So the top 4 seeds after Swiss got a bye into top 8. So but the top 12 plays were like seeds 5 through 12 played each other. So I was first seed, obviously undefeated, so I got a bye. And then top 8 I played against a guy who was on Vayu, and I 2-0'd him after a very long grindy match. So game 1 was the thing where he had he went the return play, and I had Sidra on board, and I had a compulse set, and he went return for so I had what was it? Compulse, 2 compulses, Sidra, and then 2 compulses, torrential Sidra, with a flip. So he has return set and a solemn set, and he goes special dad. I'm like torrential. He goes prio on the flip. I go torrential. He goes solemn, and then I just go at resolution compulse the dad, and then he's like and he's like return, but it's like all like little monsters. Like it's like a couple Sirocco's, Vayu, Armageddon Knight, Hamster. So he can't run over the Cyber Dragon, but he can pump his dude up to like 78, I think, and he's able to attack over Cyber Dragon. But I still have enough life to survive the returns. I don't feel the need to compulse something. And then I save the compulse for later, and I think he books his hamster to keep it alive. Everything gets banished, and then I'm like, okay, so he's dead, but he doesn't even have any way to get it out. So I just eventually just make a big push with the compulse, and then take the game from there. In game 2, I just outgraded him. Top 4 was against AJT. He's extremely famous player. Game 1 I was up. It was slow for a while, and then I drew gear frame, and then was really up on cards. And he saw my hand with DDV earlier, and I had two Fiendish, 2 Compulse, and a Solemn. I don't think he knew about the Solemn. And then he summoned a Sirocco. He had 5 back row, I had 5 back row. And I didn't Fiendish chain it because I didn't want to waste a Fiendish chain on that. But looking back, I definitely should have, because I had 2 Caius in hand with Avarice, and I had just a gear frame, and I really needed to fill Avarice and start dropping the Caiuses. Because I talked to him afterwards. He said he would have solemned the Caius, and then I would have lost field presence anyway. But it burned away his solemn, which ended up costing me, because later in the game he saw something very important. I was able to make a big push. But I definitely should have finished the Sirocco at the very least. Made him burn the solemn. He's still under Fiendish chain. And then I think later he had a Blizzard. I was able to finish again, but I just should have kept my gear from alive there to try to summon Caius, and that cost me the game. Game 1, game 2 was extremely back and forth. A lot of crazy top decks, but he top decked the better at the very end, and I lost. And it was on the stream. It was pretty insane. I averaged him to Caius and Forest to clear his dad, but then he dropped Blizzard off the top, and then dropped a Sirocco to tribute over my Fortress pump for game over the Gore that I had in hand. So that was pretty crazy. But overall, very, very fun weekend. Day 2 didn't do great, but day 1 it's good to do good after a few months of not playing. I am not playing this deck again. I've been playing it for a long time. I'm just kind of a little tired of it, but I think it's a good deck. Might bring it back way, way later in the future. But for now, I'm just probably taking another break from Edison, honestly. The second day was pretty frustrating. There was a lot of games were out of my control. It was like all game threes. I just kind of got like outdrawn, but it happens. I guess we do good one day, don't do good the next day. That's fine. But I think this deck is really good. I've talked about Compulse Fiendish in this deck for a while, and it's some people have tried it. Some people like it, some people don't. But yeah, I think if you want to try this list out, I've done decent with it at a number of tournaments now. So yeah, it's Machina Lightsworn.